Yeah.
Okay. Aaron's got a bagel. End of our 5-minute break. As David is frozen, well, rather not frozen, but slowly seeing this moment, and it being inescapable, with the color being drained out of the world surrounding him and coming to like some sort of like monochrome. A soft voice lilts throughout the arena. And this is actually something that no one else can hear. This is only for David. You know, that's going to kill you, Nosferatu. You're free to respond however you like, David.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks that way.
Do you want to die, Canine?
Are you asking if I'm afraid of dying?
No.
No, I don't want to.
So you want to live, then?
Yeah. Yeah, I suppose I do.
Then it's possible I might be able to help you.
And, who are you?
David, we'll see. On the other side of the tentacle that's apparently still moving very slowly and inexorably towards his head. A sort of shimmering from the bleachers. And ascending from the bleachers and into the world itself is a hairless, rubbery creature towering over its surroundings, with a wiry, pale physique covered by a rich, decadent robe. The creature is hairless, and the skin from this distance seems almost rubbery in texture. There's an emanation of power from the creature, but it doesn't seem to do much of anything. No fear, no civility, but it still has those solid black eyes which focus right on you. Cold gust of wind blows by it in this monochrome world, and the robe flutters around it, which appears to consist of human skin, properly worked to achieve its current suppleness. This towering thing, alien, looks at you from the other side of the tentacle and says, "Come with me. Let's talk about it."
Can David move?
David can certainly move. David will find that as he begins to walk forward, there's a rippling effect, almost like a bit of a tear. And as he looks back, he'll notice a curious thing, that he's apparently stepped outside of himself. His body, he thinks that he was just standing in, is still there. The eyes widen to look at the tentacle that is flying for his head.
So, what is this? Astral projecting?
We are actually We're actually inside you right now. Inside. And the creature lifts up a finger to tap what you can only assume is a temple. Right here. No one else is experiencing or seeing this right now. All they'll see otherwise is one Nosferatu about to discorporate into ash.
So is everything paused, or is everything just moving slow? Do we have a time limit going on?
There's an extent of a few minutes, essentially. That is the longest this effect can take place, and we can't control anything beyond that. So essentially, what you have are about 5 or 6 minutes, maybe, to decide what happens next.
Well, then let's keep it succinct. What's your offer?
Why don't you come for me? Take a walk a bit. It's important to really understand this. With that, the alien, its tips of the feet slightly hovering above the ground, actually steps off the bleachers and makes its way for the exit. And soon enough, there's actually a curious thing. When you get to the entrance to the Madison Square Garden, uh, it's bright outside. And opening the doors, it's still a gray world, but it looks as if it's daytime, and the sun is shining. But everything outside is paused as well. But David will certainly feel a warmth on his skin that he has not felt, or at least not imagined himself feeling since the last time he was human.
David will actually let his jaw drop a little bit, then close it pretty quickly when he remembers, oh, right, we're just in my head.
You asked what I am. I am an echo, an after-image, an experiment, a figment, a fragment of your mind. I am part of the item that you and your friends acquired some time ago. Designed and placed in there by essentially me, but I am but a shadow of it. And that was but several hundred years ago. It and I are two different things now. The stone that had been placed inside of you, and of Marcus as well, but for you it was twice, is a devising of my own, a curious little piece I'd created to test some effects and samples. It has certainly achieved interesting results, results which, among other things, bring us to this moment. You've noticed the changes? In you.
The twitches, the nightmares, the strength.
The... He pauses, perhaps trying to think of a way to explain it. The item, the experiment, has a unique effect depending on who partakes of it, adjusting itself as some sort of symbiont, along with the body which it has affected, to adjust to the current ebbs and flows, shifting the body to acclimate itself to what threatens it most. In your situation, you needed physical strength as well as stamina. The last bearer herself had surrendered completely to the item, and in return she became what I do believe your Ventru ally managed to fell. It has different effects on different people, and the extent of the effects depend on how much one is willing to get attached to it.
Then I suppose it's a good thing I only got exposed to it twice.
That, perhaps, it has changed your body in ways which perhaps have made you feel uncomfortable, but were deemed necessary, and it is in fact that item which has sparked a hand flourish. This, as it is hovering and you are standing now on a road in the middle of a sunlit New York City. You don't want to die. You want to live. And it can make that happen.
I know full well, David says, gesturing to himself vaguely, that sometimes the cost of life is too expensive.
In an extent, this would depend on what you would wish to do with the item. It can spare you in this instance and give you a hiccup of a power surge just mighty enough to keep you in check. And for that there would not be any drastic transformations. You would not turn into the creature that you ended up seeing, that snowman, I think she called it. However, if you wish to give yourself into it fully, you would be allowed to change your body in more drastic ways.
What do you mean by drastic? And how much self-control would I lose?
Well, you have an extreme in what you ended up facing with her. She was an attractive woman, a slight woman, but an attractive woman all the same. But she had not managed to find either a purpose or a sense of peace. The item, my stone, is attracted to vampires who have been wounded and weakened, who are distraught and stressed, and give them such offers so that they may find themselves whole. She ensconced herself within it entirely. In return, it protected her up until the point where you killed her. In exchange, she ended up being the willing, freely servant of me. And I do believe she had been tasked, as of late, to retrieve a particular interesting individual and exact its revenge whenever the image shrugs. I'm not sure, but I do know that you managed to kill it, and that its essence, part of it, ended up in you, as well as Marcus. Taking in the stone will actually serve a few purposes. First off, it actually protects everyone else from it. If perhaps you are concerned about your friends, know that Marcus himself, too, is vulnerable. You saw how he ran from that fight in the arena. Would you want him to be exposed to this as well?
It's a moot point. The stone's gone. He won't have a chance to get exposed to it again.
The stone is mine, and for now, it is yours. If you so willed it, to save you in this moment, you could, gestures a hand, will it to be here, and you would call it. It is not, as your Archon suggested, a demonic artifact. It is mine. And, as I said, for now, until your death, should you so wish it, yours.
Sean's in the main chat channel.
User was moved to your channel.
Hey there, Sean.
Sorry about that.
It's fine. We'll explain things, in a bit. Anyway, let's continue, Aaron.
But at what cost?
Civilod actually ends up settling it himself, or rather this after image, since David doesn't know the name, on a bench. It crosses its rubbery legs. That depends. What do you want?
I want to survive. To make sure that no one else dies to that monster.
In that case, there would end up being one request that I, the image of the stone in your mind, would make of you. It would be a compulsion, and from this point forward you would be obliged to follow it through should you accept the help. Otherwise, you will collapse in ash.
And what's the compulsion?
I need you to find me. I don't know whether the little Tremere gnats had actually managed to best me. I would like to say no, but seems have changed over the years. Exposure to the underground dwelling of the city has not done that well for me. And I, being trapped in an experiment of my own devising, can little impact the world. As such, I would have you descend down beneath the city and see whether the Tremere rumors, the bombast and strutting, is true. If not, then I need to know, and so do I.
David, sort of clenches his jaw. So, you are Sevalod. I heard descriptions of you. Never met
Yes.
you.
I am a sort of after image, an echo of Sevalod's memories and thoughts whenever he incorporated them into the stone, long before you were ever born. You will note that I have not caused undue harm to your coterie of friends. Indeed, I even offered them several opportunities from what I hear. Of course, there was the initial sort of item to attract your initial interest. That being said, I do believe I unlocked quite a bit of potential, not just in that ghoul they hired, but in Byron as well, although he perhaps has not yet found the teacher for vicissitude that he wished.
Me strolling back down underground to find Sevalod if he still exists. Especially if I might hand him that stone in person.
Oh, you're not giving it back to him. It's yours. Until you rip it out of yourself, thus killing yourself in the process, or until someone else kills you. the stone is yours. That is how the experiment was designed to be.
And what stops Sevlot from just pulling it out of me? Regardless.
The alien smiles. It's the same reason why I'm actually able here to talk to you now. The experiment.
It puts my allies, my friends, in danger. Puts Theo Bell, another of my friends, in danger. And if this keeps going on, this conflict between Sevlot and the Tremere, if it exacerbates, if he can throw more things at them, it puts this entire city, the entire Camarilla, in danger.
Are they not already in danger by chance, Nosferatu? You saw that thing in there, rather interesting specimen, if I do say so myself, one of which I am not intimate, but certainly it has quite the capabilities. It would seem that the Tremere themselves were the ones to stir up a hornet's nest. Use such a phrase of activity. There's no telling whether I am actually even still in existence. I might very well have met my final death. What I want you to do is look. If, by chance, you fear that I am going to dominate you and turn you into a puppet, I suppose there's not a lot of guarantee that I could offer that would make you trust. Suffice to say that the experiment is what matters the most, and you would not be harmed in such a regard. If you wished to say, never be requested or never have to worry about harming your friends or Theo Bell, other arrangements could be made. Certainly you would be protecting them from the stone by having it inside you, and we'll say perhaps once a year or so, something will be asked of you. Wouldn't be anything against your family, your coterie, those you hold dear, but it would be something. As I've said, there are various ranges and extents. On one end of the spectrum, you have her, who became what she wanted to, who was a willing servant of every order and did things for the thrill of it. And perhaps on the other end of the spectrum, we have you, a resolute idealist who is unwilling to endanger those he actually cares about, which is quite a novel concept for us young canines.
And what kind of things would you ask? And would I be able to just stroll out into the sun if I decided to refuse?
The translucent image thinks. It says, once you agree to accepting this, then you would be determined to finding Sevlod. Once that happened, from there until perhaps before you were given the next directive, you could kill yourself if you so wished, walk out into the sun, or ripped out the stone. If you're ever given another order, though, you would be compelled to carry that out as well. And once that was finished, then you could go back to retaining control over whether you wanted to kill yourself or not.
But basically, once something is asked, I can't refuse it.
The Sevlod, rather, the alien quirks his head. There have been those who have tried. Some have managed to muster up enough self-control and internal strength to rip apart their own chests in front of them and tear out the stone. Others were not quite so strong-willed and wanted to live.
Well, sorry, but you're not exactly selling me on this whole arrangement.
I had not quite intended myself to. It's not something to lie to you to convince you about. It's an experiment, and I approach it with all the seriousness that I do each of my other ones. But if you're not interested, then this moment in your mind will end. You'll return to blinking before you die.
Unless you can give me something a little bit more specific. What'll be expected of me aside from just finding Sevalod? I'm not willing to be turned into a weapon for him. And the way I see it, there's no guarantees that I won't be.
The problem actually is that I don't know whether I'm still alive or not. If you can actually find that I have met final death, then there's really nothing more I'm going to ask of you. I will basically serve as a rider in your mind until you've ripped out the stone or you die, in which case the stone will inevitably continue to exist further onwards, and I'll find someone else to ride on. If I am still alive, that would naturally make me grateful, and I assume it would my real self would be quite interested in knowing the experiment still on goes. But what I might ask of you in that instance, that would probably end up depending on his mood. Considering what has just happened to him, it would probably be anti-Tremere, and considering what the stone can do, protections can be made to ensure that you are not so vulnerable to their disciplines. As I said,
it's not their disciplines I'm afraid of. It's about you having me do something that earns enemies for my allies. About destabilizing the culture in which they live.
then separate yourself from them. Save them this one last time, and you are a loner, are you not, Nosferatu? Go your own way, so that they don't have to be further exposed or threatened by the experiment. As I said, you will not be compelled to harm them, nor will you will any of your other friends. The experiment is important.
Then here's the terms. No one else in this hall, aside from that monster, dies tonight. If anyone does, the deal is off. I don't find Sevalod. I tear this stone out of my chest. We clear?
The perilous brow contorts as the creature sitting with legs crossed on a bench stares out onto a park. I do believe that could be something that you personally would be able to ensure. Yes, that is certainly within the capabilities of the experiment. Yes. Nothing else inside the arena will die on this night, except for the monster.
Then fine. For now, I accept.
Very well. Well, we should probably return to where you're standing. With that, Sevalod stands up from the bench and begins sort of hovering above the sidewalk to go back into the arena. And as soon as David nestles himself back into place, there's an odd sensation, and hovering in front of him now, in front of this still gray monochrome world with the tentacle still flying towards his head, is actually what David had been told to be the heart of Thoru, the ink-black stone, just hovering in the air, right in front of him.
So what do I do? Eat it or something?
Sevalod shrugs. It's your stone. It will always be a part of you. But considering how you'll have a little bit more control over your own form now, it's up to you on how you wish to incorporate it.
David frowns, reaches out, and grabs it.
The stone feels warm in David's hand. And it feels right. There is an internal sense of rightness coming from the beast, and perhaps being exuded by the stone itself, that this is where it belongs, with you.
David does his best to consciously force himself to be cross and to tell the beast to shut the fuck up and sit down.
It does.
And I guess David tries to eat it.
David's jaw manages to unhinge, as it has whenever he spit the stone out, and the ink-black rock, rather smoothly, as if it's coated with a surface of blood, glides down David's throat. And he can feel a warm settling inside his chest now. The phantom pulses are gone, and they were replaced with a real pulse, emanating from the stone itself. Sevalod vanishes. Were there any final things that David wanted to do or say?
Nah. Just, being grim and resolute and quite ready and willing to end his unlife if need be. He's died before. Wouldn't be the first time. But
Okay.
won't be the last.
The color quickly returns back to the world, as David's mind has now finished with its moment, and David is reinserting himself within what reality actually is, which is this sickly green glowing tentacle, red and purple skin colorations, flying right for his head, but a second to react. The hands of David managed to go up with the claws extended, and with a mighty yell that escapes from David's lips, he stops the tentacle, latches onto it, and this powerful creature is unable to connect with the head. Not only that, but the light itself that is emanating from the tentacle sputters out upon the latching of the Nosferatu's hands. One tug later, and perhaps the tentacle had been weakened already by the numerous blasts and the heavy wounding the creature's already received, David Green rips off this 25-foot tentacle from the body of the beast. It screams and howls in a mixture of surprise, staggering backward, the blood spurting out from its body with the severe wound. As it falls backwards, the other members, the Elysian security guards and the Tremere who have drawn their pistols, take advantage of the situation, and the creature spins around a few times before its massive bulk falls dead. And then it too dissolves.
Is David still holding on to the tentacle? Or did that melt?
It will actually end up melting in David's hands,
Well,
dealing no damage to him.
Well, he was going to throw it away before it could have hypothetically dealt damage to him anyway.
That's fine. David discards the 25-foot tentacle.
Does he have control of himself?
Perfect control. Beast is silent. This is probably the first time that David Green has experienced silence inside himself. No hunger pangs kicking out, no sort of, curious moods of anger or rage or bloodlust. With his iron self-control, he is calm.
Well, he's going to take this moment to start barking out orders then. He's going to tell Miss McGregor to see the High Regent to safety. He's going to yell at that nearest security officer to go check on Theo Bell, see if he's all right. And then he's going to start striding out into the area where the beast used to be and start putting together the people in Torpor and seeing that everyone's okay.
Byron, what would you like to do?
Motherfucker, what did that Nosferatu just do? I'm gonna...
It looked like the Nosferatu caught the tentacle and then ripped it off of the beast.
Yeah, Byron's just gonna say, Jesus Christ, what the fuck? And he's going to holster his gun, which he just reloaded, and he's just going to move up here, and he's just going to take a seat. Just sit at the front row of the bleachers there and just stare at the Nosferatu.
Worth noting that everyone else in this arena who saw what just transpired is definitely staring at David as well. Before Mirinda ends up taking the High Regent out. The Elysian security guards go into force and begin milling about and checking on others who haven't quite discorporated into ash, and go after Theo Bell. Then Watson leaves. Janelle, who's standing behind Byron, shakes her head and just walks out. Security forces rest and scattered and everything. Theo emerges from back inside the interior of the building and wasn't quite expecting what he ends up seeing, which is just a melting pool of flesh and spiders webbing and in scales and ichor and slime as it dissolves, letting out a rise of acrid yellow steam. Heavily wounded along his chest, but is still wielding the shotgun. Theo sort of blinks in surprise and confusion at the large pool, then towards the security forces as well as David.
Took one tentacle to the chest, caught the other one, managed to get it off balance. Your force did the rest.
Theo nods. And here you wanted to run away from it. It seems like we managed to have enough firepower after all, David.
Hey, I'm just glad that it stopped doing that energy thing. Almost caught me with one before it flickered out.
Yeah, quite the burn. There's no surprise then why. And then Theo looks around all the piles of ash. No surprise why. It must have come out from the ground entirely, and it's leaving no marks just like it left with its tentacles. It must have surprised them while they're in the middle of their rituals.
Undoubtedly. I already sent the High Regent off to safety.
Theo shucks. You did quite a thing there, carrying the body of that little dwarf, but I imagine it didn't weigh anything, so those were no hassle.
David shrugs, smiles. To be fair, I was the last thing standing between it and the beast, too.
Theo looks around. I wonder if they'll actually have any more information for us. Maybe with what you did, we'll either get something straight from them, or the High Regent will kill himself.
I mean, win-win.
Theo laughs a relieved laughter and shakes his head.
Do you have somewhere to stash these bodies in Torpor?
Oh, we have Elysium, and of course there are numerous safe houses of sorts that they will be fine, but I imagine that Tremere will want to look after their own. They weren't all here, just... Theo surveys the arena, a considerable portion of them. And after they had already been weakened by what they had done in their assault on Sevalot, it's fair to say their numbers might actually be on the low scale.
Well, that could be problematic for their political careers, but it's not something to dwell on at the moment.
No, I imagine somehow the Warlocks will find their way back into the city. For now, though, Theo actually ends up slumping against the, figures. I really do hope that's the last surprise.
You and me both. Listen, I'm going to go try and find Marcus, and then you can tell me what you wanted us to do.
Theo blinks and... Oh! No, Theo points the shotgun at the large pool of blood. I think we're straight now. I think you have managed to do more than enough.
Well, fair enough.
Go home, find Marcus, get some rest. I think you have certainly earned it. And, this has done a great deal for, helping to, take care of the city. Cranes his head at, David. Perhaps you should consider getting into politics sometime. You always do manage to seem to be in the right place, Nosferatu.
Or the wrong place, David says, gesturing to the wreck of the place.
No. Maybe I could have caught one of those tentacles and ripped it off while I was off balance, but better you than me, sewer rat.
David will grin at that and then walk briskly over to where Byron is, or as briskly as he can. I assume his leg is still damaged.
Indeed.
So yeah, he'll limp on over to where Byron is. If anything, he'll exaggerate the limp because he's afraid of getting called on what just happened.
Byron is just going to be sitting and watching you approach him, not going to say a word. He is going to be looking at you curiously, though, like kind of, what the fuck was that kind of look.
We need to go find Marcus.
Among other things, yes. Byron will get up, still eyeing you curiously.
Did you land the killing shot that time too? I didn't see who fired the final shot.
No, I don't think it matters who fired the final shot in that one. I think that was all you.
If you say so.
Yeah, you know, we've been in a few combats together. It's curious. I've never seen you fight quite that well. Looks like maybe that month in torpor did you some good.
I've actually been improving potence recently. And, you know, the claws.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Byron is not going to look convinced at all. But, you know, what you say is true, so I guess he'll shrug and say, all right, if you say so, let's go find Marcus.
Again, limping his way out.
Marcus! Well, rather Jordan, where has Marcus decided to hide?
In
Assuming
the car
he-
park, not in Joseph's car. By the way, Joseph, we took your car. I'm sorry.
Joseph will figure out about that later. He's sleeping in
He's
later.
hiding. He's hiding under. He's basically trying to just try to open a bunch of car doors to try to get in them. Not Joseph's car because he knows how unsafe that is. And if you can't find a car that's unlocked, he's gonna hide underneath. He's gonna hide underneath the car.
It's worth noting that this entire time, Marcus has definitely been filled with stark terror of that constant creature just emanating. He's just like roaring and raging and, you know, charging at him with those tentacles in his head. However, it seems that quite recently, just like within the past minute, the image has sort of faded away, and the beast unclenches, and he can relax and let go and realize that he just left everyone else behind.
That thing was scary. But yeah, I should probably go back in there and see what's left of everyone, or what's going on.
All right. Oh, okay. Let's pause on that section for a minute. So, looking at about at 12:25 in the morning here, Joseph finds himself slowly awakening from his slumber. Checking the clock, it seems that the Malkavian apparently, for whatever reason, the vampiric body chose to sleep in late today. Checking the voicemail messages, you'll find that Archon Theo Bell had contacted him, saying, as it turns out, I think I've found something for the four of you to do after all. If you're interested, come see me at Madison Square Garden. No hurry or rush on this if you have something more important to take care of, but an opportunity to keep in mind. Craig will also inform you that Byron and Marcus were also contacted by Theo, apparently along with David as well, and Marcus had asked to borrow the car, which Craig, you know, seeing as how he was told to, like, you know, help them, did not refuse.
Well, I guess I did tell you to help him. I'm
Hey,
sad
Craig
to-
just, like, shrugged sheepishly, like, I didn't exactly want to give him the car, I just didn't want to not give him the car either. You said to help.
Yeah, I'm just sad to be missing another car now.
I tried to awaken you, but you were out of it. I didn't want to disturb you any further. I was worried.
Yeah, well, I'll have to get that checked now. It seems we all have more problems cropping up with our minds. That said, I guess I should go and see what they are doing. And just... Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
And unless anyone else informs him otherwise, he'll go ahead and just take public transportation.
Nope. I mean, as far as Craig knows, they'll be at Madison Square Garden, so that's the best location. Okay. So, back to it then. Let me go ahead and align the correct tokens here. We'll go ahead and move back to the 5 boroughs map. Woo!
I'm assuming Marcus has no blood. Well, there's 2 of them now.
Yeah, he has no blood. He is definitely hungry. As Marcus ends up coming out of like the whole parking garage situation to, maybe check and see what's happened, you'll notice that Byron and a limping David. Byron is definitely in much better shape, but David is definitely covered in a lot of blood and slime and mm, mm, mm. Didn't think a Nosferatu could look worse, but he does. Walking out of the MSG.
Marcus isn't gonna say anything. He's just gonna be quiet.
You okay?
He's just gonna nod. Very hungry.
Yeah, no, I know the feeling. I don't have quite enough to, patch this up, he says, tapping on his leg. Theo's okay. The, High Regent survived. But, it's pretty terrible in there.
Yeah, would have been a lot worse, except this guy here, hurt leg and all, ripped off one of the tentacles and basically let us finish him off, the monster.
Yeah, as soon as it was off balance, everyone just opened fire on it. It didn't stand a chance.
Huh.
It was definitely something to see. It was impressive.
If
Huh.
if that light hadn't flickered out, though, I think I would have lost my head. Literally.
Marcus is just gonna show like,
Anyway, I know that we were supposed to, go scope out that police commissioner, but I really am running on empty here. I'm gonna need to go hunting. I assume you will, too, Marcus.
Marcus is just gonna nod. Yep.
I was thinking along those lines as well.
Marcus is nodding while in his head, thudding, hungry, 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 hungry.
Aaron sure looks delicious right now. I wonder how drunk he is.
Alright, then, can I get a ride from you guys? I don't really want to take the subway with a bum leg.
I guess. Byron, you drive.
I mean, unless you're
Oh, yeah.
afraid I'll mess up the upholstery.
I don't really care about the upholstery.
Byron will raise an eyebrow and say, okay, I'm a little out of practice, but
Yeah,
You have-
you're dropping us off like in Astoria, and you can take the car back to Joseph or something. I don't know.
All right. I mean, Byron will take the keys and shrug. I mean, he'll do that because he guesses he's in better shape than the other two, so he'll drop him off, and drive the car to Joseph Church. Although I say, I don't know, maybe we should give Joseph a call. Maybe he's up and about and done with whatever crazy mouth thing he's up to.
Yeah, I'll try and give him an update. David says, pulling out his cell phone in the back seat.
Joseph is currently on public transportation, still in Queens, trying to head towards Manhattan, what he's called. Nice cell phone service here in the subway.
Amazing, right?
Hello.
Hey, I can hear that you're no longer incapacitated.
Yeah, small, I assume Malkavian problem. Not one I normally have.
I honestly don't want to know the details.
That said, so what's going on?
Well, there was another attack on Elysium, and, well, the Tremere are no longer as big of a political player anymore.
Oh, wow, went badly?
Pretty badly. It looked like about half the Tremere got killed. The High Regent is in torpor. I got away with only a few wounds. Same with Theo Bell. The others are all right.
What attacked?
It was a giant spider with horse legs and tentacles made out of people.
And, did it escape?
No, everyone managed to finish it off after I got a lucky shot in.
Very nice. Is the coterie meeting up?
No, Marcus and I are both completely starving, so Byron's going to be dropping us off in Astoria before he brings the car back to you.
Just
and
leave it.
I'm sorry for whatever gets left on the seats. I'm a little bit messy at the moment.
Oh, don't worry. If it's still in one piece, that's better than usual. That said, just leave it at Astoria State.
Okay, I'll tell Byron.
Yeah, Joseph will know that Byron probably can't drive that well.
Give me a dexterity plus drive at difficulty 4, would you, Byron?
And that's at -1, so it should be difficulty. I mean, because I don't have the skill, so it's like 5, I think. Yeah, I fail. So I think you're gonna get a ding.
It's rough going about that time where Marcus and Byron rode with Joseph, and there were some interesting things. Perhaps Byron's still a little shaken after what happened as well, but he does eventually manage to get the coterie back to Astoria.
And which of David's legs is all messed up?
We'll say the right one.
Okay, so yeah, he really can't drive. Otherwise he would take over. Byron, Joseph wants you to leave the car at Astoria Estates.
Fantastic. Can't get out of this death machine fast enough.
Meanwhile, the entire time Byron is swerving and nearly running a red light and almost hitting that car during a turn, Marcus has had hungry.
And,
Nom 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 nom.
and David is finally in control of himself. Or so it seems. Dun,
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 dun.
dun, dun.
Well, there's definitely the overarching, overwhelming compulsion that David feels in his head to go do as he was tasked and, dig around, see whether he can find Sevlod, but it's not pressing. You're like, I have to do it now. It's, it can take some time. It's okay. Do it right.
Well, okay then.
And if Joseph is not at Astoria Estates by the time we get there, then I will call him up and tell him I'm leaving the keys in the office for that car.
Nah, he could be there. Transportation was quick for him. Quicker than Granny Byron.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure some wrong turns were taken or something, so it probably took a while.
Yep. Get off the road, Grandma!
First thing Joseph's gonna do is examine the car. In detail.
Car's definitely fine. There might be a few dings from where Joseph might have accidentally, swiped a mailbox or a post or something since he's still learning how to drive, but, it looks fine.
That is surprising. Something happened and I still have a car.
Yeah, this is a night of amazing things. Here are the keys. I think I need to take a walk and unwind, unless there's something else you need or want.
Oh, me, certainly not.
Byron will nod. Say, oh, just one thing. I kind of overheard your phone call. Yeah, the whole reason that thing died, David basically ripped one of the tentacles off and almost knocked it over, giving the rest of us a chance to kill it.
I'm assuming Marcus has run away at this point to go hungry.
Well, I assumed
Yes.
I just dropped them off first thing, and then I'm the
that's
only
true.
one there.
Yeah, I figured both Marcus and David had gone to try to find some blood.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well,
Well, that is very awesome if you managed to do that. That's impressive.
Yeah, it was incredible. I think he might just be the talk of the town for the next few nights. Anyway, I'm sure we'll get in touch with you once we've cleaned ourselves up.
Certainly, I'm sad I couldn't be there.
Byron will just look at you for half a second. Say, yeah, it was not a pretty thing, though. If given the choice, I might have wanted to avoid it altogether.
Well, then I assume you probably spent some blood, so I'll let you get on your way.
Byron will nod perfunctorily, and he will get going. So yeah, he's hunting as well. So all three of us, I guess.
Okay, in that case, it's pretty much going to take them from now until dawn. Joseph, we'll say it's like 1 a.m. You got like 5 hours to play with here.
I think I was planning on going to the place in Astoria, but I think that'll sit for a day. It being too late. So I'll go feed on Perd, and that's it.
Okay. In that case, Joseph goes to relax and contemplate the situation, and alright, you can go ahead and make a willpower roll, difficulty 6 for me, for feeding on your herd. Close! Close. close. Alright. As for David, Byron, we'll go ahead and handle Byron first. You've got basically 4 hours you can hunt here. Go ahead and give me like wit plus street rise rolls. It's now like Friday morning, so at difficulty 3. For you, Crimson.
Sure, I'll be taking 2 each time as normal.
Okay. Alright.
Looks like they all succeed.
Marcus, you can go ahead and give me your, sort of like charisma plus empathy rolls. Your first roll, because you're hungry and unable to focus, will be at difficulty 3. And you'll have to make a self-control roll after that as well, at difficulty 6. Okay. Marcus
I
succeeds.
succeed. I'm still hungry after...
You're still hungry. Do you want to keep drinking from this vessel or move on to find someone else then?
I'll move on to someone else.
Okay. Make another charisma plus empathy at difficulty 3. Alright, make another self-control roll at difficulty 6. Oh, alright. Takes you up to 4. No longer hungry?
No longer hungry.
Alright, then your other 2 rolls will be at difficulty 2. And David. David is feeling pretty cool, though it is difficult for him to move around. Go ahead and give me, like, say something like, with how you usually hunt, like a wits plus, streetwise or something, or subterfuge at difficulty 3. Or stealth or something, I don't know. Whatever you want.
You got it.
Succeeds.
Yeah, it does.
At the taste of blood, the hunger does come back. Go ahead and give me a self-control roll at difficulty 6.
And would his code of honor apply?
Sure.
Uh-oh.
Not a botch. You can, at this point, begin, since you're now in frenzy, you can expend, like, a point of willpower to stave that off for a turn. You, like, take 2 blood points and just, like, try to run away. Like, go! Try to encourage the person to run away, and that can certainly happen. You just have to spend a point of willpower.
Yeah, I'll do that. Which makes me sad, because willpower is such a rare commodity in these games.
That's right.
But, at least I didn't end up spending as much as Byron spent tonight.
It's okay. Byron Rand has so much, man. He's good.
Yeah, I was almost maxed it out again. I was at 8 for 9 before tonight.
Alright, are you still hungry?
Yeah, my hunger limit is 4 at the moment.
Okay, so go ahead and give me another hunting roll. That'll succeed, and another self-control roll, difficulty 6, with your code of honor applying. That definitely succeeds. You knocked that out. And then 2 more hunting rolls. Since you're no longer hungry, you don't have to worry about that anymore. Alright, everything is calmed down. And, you all are pretty much able to sidle into your places of residence, so, Marcus and Byron, are you going to be sleeping on your own again, or are you going back to the church?
I'm gonna probably end up being... It's too late to get over to the church tonight.
Yeah, same thing.
And, alright, that's fine. David Green, How does he approach his haven, as it were?
Invisibly and obliquely?
Same as usual. Alright. Yeah, everything's fine. Nothing has been molested further.
Not even a little.
Not even a little.
Well, shit, there goes tonight's entertainment. Alright, with how tonight has gone, he's probably gonna just glare at himself in the mirror until it's time to pass out for the day.
He's not a Lasombra, so he can certainly do that. You know, looking at himself, though, he looks the same. Certainly it does seem as if his undead frame has, like, bulked up a little to represent the increased strength that he has gotten. And, definitely if he presses his hand to his chest, he actually doesn't even need to feel it. There is a heartbeat there, a pulse from the rock.
Well, he's just going to keep glaring at himself because as of tonight, he no longer trusts his own thoughts to be even remotely objective or even necessarily his own.
The Beast will take the opportunity to pipe up and basically like, "You silly. That's absurd. Come on, man. You're fine." What are you doing standing here in front of this mirror? Come on, man. Did you see what you do with that tentacle? You are fantastic.
You should be out there eating someone.
The hell are you doing, man? Taking only little bits and parcels at a time and saying something like, "Go!" You know, investing such mental thought into the process. Look at you!
Like to celebrate. Go hunt. You're magnificent. You should be out there living in the darkness.
Yeah. David's just gonna keep glaring at himself. Oh, fine. You know what? Fine. Whatever. Be a dick. See if I care. Don't live it up. Okay. The four of you managed to fall asleep within your protected havens, except for Marcus, who, he's got a haven, technically.
It just happens to be someone else's.
Day passes. Day ends. Sun sets around like 7:46, 7:47 p.m. The four of you roughly wake up about 4 hours later, noticing, you know, for the first time, like, really, vampires don't have a lot of fun time in the summer. My God. It's like, how much time do we really have to do things? This is ridiculous. I need to wake up earlier. This is dumb. Marcus will have a slight disturbance of that soft, which seems ephemeral and absolutely impossible to pinpoint. Only that he can hear it just scratching against his head.
It's just a ghost.
Well, I mean, if that's all.
David, did you want to spend some of your blood to heal some of your aggravated damage, or at least 1 point?
No. If I do that, then when I wake up and lose an additional point of blood, I'll be in the hungry range again.
That's not a problem, man. Look at you. You're a killer.
That's the problem.
Go ahead and drain a point of blood from yourselves if you haven't already done so. The court is yours to do as you will, guys.
Well, David's going to get up, properly clean off his wound, which obviously doesn't heal, or probably even clot for the most part.
Oh. Oh, this is interesting. Examining the wound, David does whenever he awakens and gives it a long hard look. Two things happen. First, he realizes that, you know, normally he feels hungrier whenever he awakens. And assessing, his current hunger level, he's actually not. He didn't, in short, the blood point he normally loses has been negated, and he's still at 9. It also seems as if sometime during the day, the wound, the large gash along the side of his leg, closed itself up a little. Instead of 3 aggravated damage, David now has 2. The third one has apparently been healed?
Well, that still leaves him with the same wound penalty, but, huh.
Yeah, you're superficially hurt and suffer no movement hindrance. You just have the -1 dice pool penalty.
Well, huh. Then, David's gonna call everyone up in, the fancy futuristic group phone call method.
Ring, ring, motherfuckers!
Hello.
Hey, I think that with Theo no longer having something for us to do, we've put off our surveillance on the commissioner long enough. So I'd like to get that started tonight.
Sounds good to me.
All right. Do any of you have anything you want to do first? More hunting? Personal business? Anything?
Yeah, I've got a small personal thing to handle. I'll go ahead and go without me. I'll meet you up there.
All right, will do. Anyone else? I know you were pretty hungry last night, Marcus.
Oh, I'm good now.
Well, fantastic.
All right. Well, I'll make my way out. Where do you want to meet? You want to just meet, even though he won't be there, at Joseph's Church first before we move out, or what?
Yeah, let's meet at Joseph's Church first, since he lives in downtown Flushing. After that, I don't know if you guys are going to attend the surveillance portion, but we can put together the specifics of our plan.
Okay. Sounds like a plan. And Byron will head that direction.
What's Joseph going to do, Sean?
He's going to the police station in Astoria.
They're going to Flushing, you're going to Astoria. It's great.
Yes, it is a little comical.
Does Joseph wish to flush up with spending 2 blood points to make it so that he doesn't look like a pale walking corpse?
Yeah, once he gets there, and he's also going to be wearing his vestments.
Okay. Well, Joseph has the power of the car on his side, whereas the others are relying on public transportation. Joseph will arrive at his destination first, somewhere in southern Astoria, stepping out of his car and flushing up.
I've been thinking about it. Vampires don't get tired, they don't sweat. They don't really have to worry about, the problems that come with running.
No, they can run endlessly, yeah.
I wonder if David could sprint all the way to Flushing, invisible, avoiding all the traffic, avoiding any train delays, avoiding waiting for any trains or any changeovers on other trains as quickly as he takes the subway there.
The first problem I would note with that is that Obfuscate only works to a certain distance.
Fair
Past
enough.
that, what you would have is basically people in their cars and perhaps on the sidewalk. From the distance, this absurdly fast human being, running superhumanly fast down a sidewalk. And then you'd vanish.
Well, I mean, I don't know, superhumanly fast. I mean, it'd be a full sprint, but you wouldn't be pumping it up with celerity or anything.
It's faster than what their little minds can comprehend. Especially, like midnight.
What's that man in that suit? That crazy-looking albino man in that suit doing sprinting down the sidewalk in the middle of the night.
What's the deal with that?
Without celerity, I don't think you'd even be faster than transportation of any kind.
I mean, with my, passive bonus of celerity, I'm at dexterity 5.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know either. If it's something that you wish to do to transport yourself.
Nah, I was more asking to kind of see if David could test it, but you raise good points about the actual feasibility of it.
Yeah, obfuscate, it's something worth pointing out, the book does say it does have a limited range that it can affect.
Yeah, fair enough.
Which means if you're trying to take a straight shot there, you're not ducking in alleys or, lurking in the shadows to make sure that no one hears you or sees you. When you're running at a full sprint, you're hearable.
He'll just take the express or something then.
Okay. All right, Joseph managed to arrive at the 114th precinct Friday night. Looks like it's quite a bustling place at this time. It's perhaps some sort of activity has happened that has attracted their interest. You have some patrol cars, cops swarming to and fro, suspects being hauled in, that sort of thing.
Well, he'll go straight on in. I'm assuming he's having some identification that'll allow him to see that he's retired. So.
Absolutely. You'll end up encountering that friendly, lovable, huggable, innocent-looking kid there behind the desk. Ah, you again. How can I help you?
I'd like to see the he's chief inspector, right?
Uh, Inspector Dufford is not in right now. Is there a message that I can leave with you for him?
Wait, could you possibly tell me where he is? Do you know?
Sort of shrugs and a half snort. Apologies, sir, but I don't think I'm important enough to be told much of anything.
Well, it was just a hope. If you do see him, tell him that if he wants to talk to me, feel free to come down to my church. He already has the address. I was just hoping to see him tonight. Well, I guess I'll step in tomorrow night or look him up some other way. Anyways, thanks.
Mm-hmm. You're not sure? I'll leave a message to let him know.
And Joseph doesn't have his address or anything like that, so he'll head straight back to Flushing's.
Okay. The three of you, David, Byron, and Marcus, end up arriving in Flushing at a place called Sunset Apartments, a 9-story upper-middle-class apartment building located just on the outskirts of downtown Flushing, before you touch into bits of Murray Hill there.
I thought that we were stopping in at Joseph's church first.
Sure, you can do that. Craig will greet you and be apologetic and tell you that Joseph's not here. He left to attend to business.
No, I mean, I thought that we were stopping in there to kind of figure out exactly what our whole approach on the surveillance was going to be. Was I wrong?
I didn't know you were going to do that.
Yeah,
I didn't know you were going to do that either. You assuming things again, Aaron.
I mean, if that's what you guys want to do, that's fine. I mean, I don't have a problem with it. I just didn't know.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter. We all meet up outside the apartment building. We can plan there as well. It's up to y'all.
Seems more reasonable you guys hit up the church first.
I think so too. It's okay. We say, yeah, it's no problem, Craig. We knew he was going to be out. We talked to him. We just are meeting up here before we move on.
Oh, all right. Well, if there's anything you need, let me know. And Craig walks off to go take care of business.
All right. So, what do we know about where this guy lives? And now he'll be looking at David, more likely than Marcus.
Well, David's got the address right.
Yeah, the basic information on the locale would be, as I described it to you, it's an upper-middle-class apartment building, 9 stories tall, in southern downtown Flushing, before you get into the Murray Hill neighborhood.
He lives in a pretty nice apartment in downtown Flushing. It's just a little bit outside of Murray Hill. It's nothing special, but I'm not sure if he's got any security on the place either.
Well, I figure probably the best thing would be to scope it out a little bit. I mean, maybe you can obfuscate and look around, and if there aren't many cameras, or if there are cameras, then we can just take the direct approach and we can go knock on the door or something. If not, we can try to pick the lock and go in. Up to you. You're the one with the skills here.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense to me. We also don't know if there's a way in through the fire escape or anything else like that, really. I was planning on surveilling it for a while, seeing if I could figure out his routine, any possible approach. After that, it would just be you and Marcus going in with, what, the thermos of my blood?
Right. Do we know where he's located in the building, so we can see if the lights go out or anything like that from the outside?
You don't know which apartment he lives in, no.
All I know is that he lives on such and such floor. Right? Like, I have his apartment number at least, don't I?
Do you?
Do I?
How would you?
Yeah, fair enough.
Well, if we don't know, we can easily, one of us can go in and check the directory. He might be listed at the front, at least on the mailbox or something. So Byron will look back and forth. Anything else, or do you think we should just head over there and scope it out?
I think now's as good of a time as any. Especially since we don't have anything, for once, pressing going on, aside from this.
All right, sounds good. And with that, unless people, I mean, he'll start walking towards the door. I mean, how far away is it? How many blocks away?
Not that far. Get there. You can make a fun little trip of it, maybe, 10, 15 minutes. Probably closer to 15.
Works for me.
Okay. Once there, Byron will say, well, do you want me to blush up and go inside and see if there's a directory or something? Or would you like to scope it out first, or what would you like?
I actually have a map for you guys.
Uh-oh, it's going to blow up.
Factually correct.
Or have tentacles burst out of the ground in it.
Or have Java errors.
Those are the worst.
Yep, you can go ahead and copy your tokens down along the road area. I did design this map some time ago, back before we ruled that vision blocking was a no-no for us. So there's definitely vision blocking in effect.
Byron's just standing out in the middle of the road.
Oh yeah, I pasted my old one, so I was editing it.
This neighborhood looks idyllic enough. You have cars parked along the sides of the road. You have a nice little grove of trees there that leads to the front. Up ahead, you have a glass door, which appears to be, locked and contained on the side is a list of buzzers. Taking a peek at the buzzers, Byron will notice that rather than have actual names listed on them, they're just listed on floor. So apartment 201, 202, 203, 204, or 300, or 301, 302, 303, 304. No names on them. They go up from 201, 202, 203, 204 to 901, 902, 903, 904.
Fantastic.
Also, definitely, Sean, Joseph can have arrived at this point, or if he was going to arrive back at the church, then he can do that. I didn't know exactly where he was heading. I thought it was to the church.
Probably would have been church, but he'd immediately...
Yeah, and then Craig would have directed, yeah, they talked about going to Sunset Apartments, I think?
Then he'd feel like playing the game of chasing everyone around again.
Okay. You want me to add Joseph's car onto this map as well?
I would rather it not, because if it's off-screen, it's less likely to be blown up.
Well, certainly in that case, Joseph can end up arriving while you folks are outside as well. The exterior of the building looks well lit. There are definitely security cameras placed on the exteriors as well, basically to keep an eye on any sort of traffic that comes along the staircase here and gets to the glass door. For fire escape purposes, there appears to be, rather than a built-in stairwell, it's ladders. And you'd have to sort of try to make a leap up to catch the ladder that is on the second floor of the sort of stairwell walkway. It's a ladder that takes you from the ground to the second floor outside, and then stairs that take you all the way up to the top.
All right, well, David will say, well, Byron, if you think that you can figure out a way to ask for the directory without sounding suspicious, that would actually help us out quite a bit.